Thailand is a fertile land in Southeast Asia. It is full of natural resources and unique traditions. With these outstanding features, Thailand has attracted many nations over.
The people of Thailand, even though they call themselves Thais, actually have their own roots in different cultures and diversities. Some have come to Thailand from around the world, but mostly from Asian countries. For instance, the earliest stage of Thai cultures was influenced by Mon, Khmer, and later Indian cultures. But by far, the greatest effect on Thai culture was contributed by the Chinese. What were the reasons that brought them here? To find the answer, I've come to Wat Dramit or Dramit Temple, where Yavala Chinatown Heritage Center is located. It was expected to be the study center presenting the settlements of Chinese in Thailand and how Chinatown developed over time, presented in forms of statues, models, and decorations. It's free for Thai people, but the admission fee is 140 baht for each foreigner. It is not hard to get here. You can take the subway to Hua Lamphong station, then walk out from exit 1 about 200 meters. You will see the temple on the right. Since King Rama I, there had been many Chinese leaving their home country and moving to other countries around the world, including Thailand. Three main reasons that made Chinese migrate to Thailand are political instability, natural disasters, and unsatisfactory of living standard in China. The political system of China at that time was governed by the Chinese dynasties. Later, China changed the system to communism and was ruled by a single communist party. Chinese people, who could not bear the authority commands which limited their freedom, decided to escape from the country. Another factor is the problems of natural disasters which destroy the land and agricultural products. Those factors eventually brought poverty and famine to people as farmers were not able to produce agricultural products. Those two factors displeased the population and lowered their standard of living. That is why they left and sought for better lives in new lands.
In the Heritage Center, it simulates the most popular way that Chinese migrate to Thailand by using barks. Most passengers have only a few pieces of belongings, mostly a mat, a bamboo pillow, straw hat, and water jar. The food they brought along mostly consisted of steamed Chinese pastry, which could be kept for several days. The journey might take almost a month. During the journey, the only thing that Chinese immigrants could do is to pray that God would bless them for a safe journey through the potential storm, famine, and disease. After a month of endurance, they had finally landed on the land that they have been hoping for, Thailand. Here we are at the Port Yai Phuet near Wat Arun. The Portuguese Chinese first landed when they arrived to Bangkok after tolling by barge from China to Thailand. It has been said that China's conditions of living back then was very low. Staying in China would mean a death from hunger and deprivation. However, after their settlement in Thailand, their standard of life had gradually changed in a better way. As we can see that many Chinese people who migrated to Thailand came with nothing, but later succeeded in their lives. The reason why they became prosperous is that the situation in Thailand back then was advantageous for foreigners. Foreigners in Thailand were free to do business as they wished, even though the market was not initially famous as today. After they immigrated from China, they passed the Gulf of Thailand and they chose to settle down in Bangkok. And this is the room that tells us the story about the origin Chinese community at Sampeng, where they first arrived and started to settle down in during the reign of King Rama I to King Rama III. Being supported by kings and the openness of Thailand, which allowed the foreigners to do business as they wished, Sampeng later became the biggest trading center of the city based on these reasons. Few years later, the Chinese migrants moved to Yaowarat Road, known as Chinatown today. As time went by, the population of Chinese immigrants in Thailand has increased from 230,000 in 1825 to about 800,000 in 1910. By 1932, approximately 12.2% of population in Thailand has changed. However, with a great number of Chinese immigrants, problems such as opium, gambling, and prostitution had eventually occurred. These illegal businesses were supported by a Chinese mafia gang called Ang Yi.
Due to these illegal businesses, the Loyal Army operated to restore order in Sampeng and transform it to a trading and commercial area. After the restorations, Chinese businesses began to expand and played more important role in society. This zone exhibits the atmosphere of the Chinese business in Chinatown after the restorations. Establishing of a rice trading company on Songwat Road was the origin of prosperities that generated vast business development in Yaowarat. Chinese characteristics are concerned with royalties, frugality, honesty, and tolerance, and they have been considered as good merchants and investors. This room in heritage centers present an early popular occupations that most Chinese people did in the past. For example, many people among the newly arrived become noodle peddlers, walking along the streets with the shop carried on shoulders. They did not only work hard to make a living, but also try to economize their expenses to save some money, which took a lot of patience and disciplinary actions. After Chinese had been living in Thailand for many years, they started to become wealthier as they worked hard and usually put their savings to invest in new business, to earn more profits and change their social status. As they become high-class people with wealth and fame, they started to work in politics and economic sector of Thailand. One of those famous Chinese is Dr. Poi Eunpakon, former minister who was born in a Chinese family. He served as Deputy Director Governor of the Bank of Thailand. He has been said to be an extremely successful bureaucrat who played a central role in shaping Thai economic development and strengthening the education system. There are other influential Chinese who are well known among Thai people. Their biographies are gathered in the Great Regent Room in Yaowarat Heritage Centers. Inside the room, you will see hall frames and video presentations about Yaowarat famous residents who become a role model and inspiration for our later generations. The media provides the information about personal life of each person who was able to climb the social ladders with empty-handed, and yet declare themselves as เจ้าสัว or millionaires. They also made series of great meritorious deeds in gratitude to the country. The Chinese would not have settled in Thai society so easily if they were not supported by the King of Thailand. They had been supporting the Chinese to form communities, allowing them to do business on their own will, and setting many royal ceremonies which expressed their sympathy toward the Chinese. Those activities unified the people together as one nation and coexist with peace and harmony in Thailand. Here is a gallery of photographs and video of His Majesty the King and royal family benevolence to Yaowarat, as well as royal family activities that carry out for a friendly tie between Thailand and China. As Chinese come to Thailand, they brought their cultures with them and spread them to Thai societies. As time passed by, Chinatown has developed exponentially, while the Chinese image has never changed. Here is another fantastic room, which is the model of Yaowarat Road during its most prosperous time, 1975. It was considered to be a place of modern business and the biggest entertainment centers of Bangkok. The model is surrounded by 11 dioramas, presenting social life and culture of Yaowarat residents at that time, such as the Chinese Opera Theater, where people usually met and had fun. Chinese opera would be performed only on special occasions. It didn't only entertain people, but also taught the moral disciplines and educated people with new knowledge. Another significant diorama is about the hospital for the needy, the principle of caring one another. Wealthy Chinese merchants representing all dialect groups cooperated their efforts to build Tian Pha Foundation Hospital to provide medical care for their needy fellow countrymen without charge. We have already talked about some of their cultures which were made as models with dioramas. They are not all, though. There are many other Chinese cultural identities as well. But we will focus on the architecture, religions, and festivals, which are the most interesting points. First of all, the architectures. Normally it can be seen in Chinese temples and palaces. Chinese temples are conservative in cultural artifacts and express in a way that human beings are parts of nature. The concept of Chinese temple is to show the integrations of divinities and humanities. Secondly, religions. It is said to be a part of Chinese rituals and the belief that their gods are always with them, as long as they behave respectfully and properly. The religious beliefs can be seen in terms of shrines in every household. This is the evidence that they strongly believe in their gods for some specific purposes. Lastly, the festivals. Some of very famous Chinese festivals that Thai Chinese celebrates are Nine Emperor Gods Festival and Chinese New Year. During the Nine Emperor Gods Festival, ruling people decide not to eat meat and also behave well. The purposes of this festival are for health and reflect the social values. And now, welcome to the last part of the museum, Yaowarat today. This zone represents 4 outstanding facets of Yaowarat. There are the Golden Road, Thailand's greatest market, the Center for Chinese Culture and Traditions, and the Center for Delicious Food. The Golden Road shows the characteristics of Yaowarat gold shops, with only 4 original gold shops about a century ago. But both vicinity today of the road are lined with over 130 gold shops, making it the world's largest market for handmade gold ornaments. Yaowarat is also known as the Thailand's largest market. It is a large trade district where a wide variety of goods are available. Goods such as ornaments, textiles, and miscellaneous items are all available with both wholesale and retail trade. The third important facet is the Center for Traditions and Culture. Today, the Center of Chinese Thai descendants is at Yaowarat. It is a place where Chinese culture is deeply rooted in daily life of people and also the origins of their livelihoods and their beliefs. Moreover, Yaowarat today is renowned for excellent Chinese restaurants. Yaowarat today is crowded with excellent Chinese restaurants, offering a wide variety of delightful dishes. These include luxurious restaurants, roadside food shops that are actively frequented every evening. If we talk about Yaowarat, it reminds us of the Chinese migration routes from their homeland to Thailand. Who can imagine that the Chinese, who has come with only a pot and a mat, will be as successful as we see today? From labor to millionaire, from problematic and overcrowded area to the biggest trading and commercial area. They have become successful because of their industrious nature. They worked from the lowest positions and eventually promoted to the highest positions.
Without Yaowarat, Bangkok would be totally distinctive from what we see today. Even though the livelihood of Yaowarat has changed a lot as well as time, the uniqueness of Chinese Cultural Center still remains. Yolat is like a book which contains all of the history of Chinese in Thailand that will not fade away.